Thank you.
So, Ishani,
Yeah, Shubham.
can I sign up again with my personal email ID?
You can.
But because I think I am facing issue with the Jan.
Sure. No problem. You can. You can. I'll approve that.
Okay, I will do it right now.
Okay. So I know I had given this exercise to you as a assignment, and I hope you had gone through the data and specifically the data dictionary. Does everyone understand this data set?
Yes.
Yes, to some extent.
To some extent. Can anybody give me a brief of what this is?
Yeah, sure, you can get.
No, can you give me, someone can give me a brief of what this data set is all about?
Saad, can be on mute? Yeah, thanks.
Anybody can give me a small synopsis, because so what this data set is, people are applying for loans
Job
for
creation,
their startup businesses, like for small businesses, larger businesses, they're taking up loans, and Small Business Administration, SBA, is there. So various banks are involved in it, various states are involved in it, and it has a lot of information about number of employees, whether it's an existing business, it's a new business, it has created, how many jobs it has created, how many jobs it has retained, whether it's a franchisee, what is the location, and when the date was disbursed, and if there has been a default on the loans that have been taken. So all this information is given over here, right? So let's try to solve exercise number 1. Do you all see exercise number 1?
Yes.
Right. So do it in the same sheets. I put the data. You don't have to go to the data again and again. I put the data in the sheets itself. Let's calculate a column of success and fail. Okay, so that column does not exist in this data set. And when do we call it a success? Success is if the amount is paid in full. Now, how would I know the amount has been paid in full? I'm going to go and look at this column called MI status. In MI status, there is charged off or paid in full. So if it's written as PIF, so if I go to this column, so if it's PIF, then it means it has been paid in full. So if it's a new business, right, and it is paid in full, then I want to count it as success, otherwise a failure. And how do I know it's a new business? We can go to the column called new exists. If it's number 2 over there, it means it's a new business. Otherwise, if it's 1, then it's existing business. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this question. And like always, when you are going to finish, you need to copy paste your answers over here, the formulas. Karan, I hope you're back with us. Your client meeting is done.
So if it is paid in full, then it will be success, right?
Paid in full, as well as if it's a new business, then I will mark it as success.
Okay.
I've given access to Shubham and Lalit. So if you could check again.
Yeah, sure.
Ishani, I have downloaded this worksheet from the LMS, but it is not having the sheet of exercise 1.
मैं बात करूं. Hello, Ishan.
Yeah.
Shani, this is Shujauddin. I am
Yeah,
trying to
Shujauddin.
logging in. I'm getting an error call. Your email ID is already existing.
So once you've signed up, you need to sign in. So there are going to be two different links, right? So once you've signed up, then you have to go to
Can you please check?
Login.
Are
Just
my
log in.
credentials? I'm clicking on login.
Yeah, and you're putting your email and password.
Right. Let me check once again. Sorry.
Nishani, can you message the link I just joined?
For what?
This IV LMS link.
You are not a part of LMS till now? I didn't email
Yes,
it
yes.
today. I emailed it long time back. I think 3 days back, or probably last week is when I started giving the LMS thing. I don't remember when, but at least 2 days. Monday, I think Monday is when I gave the LMS.
It was on 13th.
13th. So Monday, correct.
Well, let me check the link.
So look for LMS. Look for my email ID. It's ishani.agrawal. So just type in WSHNI. You should find that email.
Shani, can I share my screen once?
Sure.
Thanks.
Gunjan, is it working for you? Because if you write PIF without the spaces, would it match? And new business is 1 and not 2. Okay, click on this. So, Chauji, you're logged in. Click on this advanced Excel Genpack.
Ishani, for existing business, it would be 1.
Now go to logical function and conditional formatting. And click on this file, download it.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, now it's working. You can open. Yeah. Some question was there?
For existing business, it would be 1, or for 2.
Existing. So if I look at the data dictionary, it tells me that existing is 1 and new business is 2. So we are interested in new business.
Isani has said my answer.
Okay.
Actually, to be honest, I am confused about the question, but whatever I understood, this is the one answer that I
Sure.
have.
I don't know where I am now. Have I shared my screen?
So in chat, I shared.
Oh, now I found it. For once I got lost. Okay. This is going to be a success.
And condition.
Again, Gunjan, M7 has to be 2, not 1. It has to be 2 for new business.
Okay.
Okay.
Shweta, again, it is going to be
2.
2.
Yeah, but the condition, the logical.
Other things are fine. Correct.
Ishani, this is Vikas.
Yes, Vikas.
I'm able to log into the LMS module, but like, the problem is like the initial email and I have given to you, there is a E missing in the Genpack.
No, so that doesn't matter because
Yeah,
you
like-
create your own sign up, right?
Yes, I have created my own sign up, but like, it could create a problem while like, if you send me any kind of a material because you have the incorrect email address.
Oh, okay. Let me double check.
Yeah, Vikas Malhotra.
I have the E in the Genpack.
Yeah, you have the E in the Genpack, but like in the LMS model, I forget to mention E. Yeah. But still, I'm able to log in.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as you're able to log in and think it's fine. Or if you want to rectify, you can just.
Nishani, can you please ping me the link of LMS in the Zoom chat, because I'm not able to find it.
1 second. So you are a part of LMS or not a part of LMS?
Yes. I in fact got signed up on the same day.
Okay.
But right now I don't have the link handy with me.
Or you want the sign in page?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second. You might want to
Thank you.
bookmark it. Neil, correct? So everybody is able to do this. Arshad, correct? Ankita, correct? 2, you don't have to put in double quotes, Ankita. It's a number, so it will work fine. Marin, it should be 2 and not 1. 1 is for existing business, and we are trying to do for be 2. Other than that, it's correct. Prashant, correct. Kshitij, correct. Gunjan, that I've told you already. Others are correct. Again, Shweta, 1 does not have to be in double quotes
Yes,
because
yes.
it's a number.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Deepika, correct. So everyone has understood that there is a role of an AND function over here. So let me do this question. The next question is actually going to take more time of yours. And Tanu has also done. Correct, Tanu? Absolutely correct. Okay, what about Sunil? Abhishek, Sharma, Girish, Govind, Kameshwara,
Ishani pasting.
pasting. Okay. Yash. Ashish is also given. Ashish, again, it's going to be 2. 2 is for the new businesses, 1 is for existing. So that's why I was saying data dictionary is
fast failure.
Prashant, it's correct.
First one is 1. Sorry.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 2. 2. Your M, whatever the value you are taking is going to be 2. Rakesh, correct. Okay, let's move on. Now you can check your answers against mine. Again, Sandeep, it is going to be 2 and not 1. Number 1. Number 2, it is not going to be in double quotes since it's a number. Numbers do not need to be in double quotes. So the first thing was it has 2 conditions and both the conditions need to be met together. Hence, we are going to say that this is this column that we are creating of success and failure. And in this, we will put an if function. Since there are 2 conditions and both need to be met together, we have to put an and. And what is the test? The test is that the status, right, is equal to that PIF, comma. What is the second condition? The second condition is that the existing customer, which is in the column of M, is equal to 2. And this does not have to be in double quotes. If this is true, then I want the word success. Otherwise, I want the word fail. Press enter. And once this is done, we can copy paste for all the cells.
So Ishani, I got one problem while writing PIF. I wrote PIF in continuation without giving any space.
Yes.
How to copy that text, and that is why I struggled. It was giving false.
So what you can also do is, suppose MIF, this has charge of an PIF, are the 2 things that are there. So you can copy such things so that you don't have to type it at all. You can copy such things in some other cells. Don't refer it to from the table, but copy from some other cell. And instead of typing it over here, you can refer to the cell. And then fix it. Since you're referring over here, then we need to fix it and then you can copy paste so that the errors of space and all those things are not there.
Ishani, I just want to understand why M7 is equals to 2.
It's
because that's what is in the data dictionary. If you read the dictionary that I sent you, it says new existing business means 1, new businesses is 2.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now the second one is tricky. Let's go to exercise number 2. And before we go to exercise number 2, I don't think so. I taught you few things. Let me teach you before I go there. So if you remember, yesterday we had started doing this exercise where I said, okay, if I want to, if I have multiple cars and if I had multiple bonuses for each car, then how do I populate the bonus percentage? Do you remember that question?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ishani.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
then we had discussed why it will not be an and why it will not be an or.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And it has to be nested if, but we
Nested
did not
if.
really, I did not show you how to use a nested if. So let's do that first. So how this nested if, and I'll also talk about ifs. Okay. So let's say there's a bonus percentage that has been allotted to different car types. So just to give random values over here, putting these things. So how does it work? Now each condition, either of the condition has to be met. So that's fine. But with each condition, the output is different. Hence, we have to use a nested if. So how does it work? Equal to if. What is a logical test? Logical test is the car type. If this is equal to Honda, then what should be the value of true?
2.
2%, which is in column I.
Correct.
What should be the value of false? If
You
this
should
is
apply if again.
If again.
should apply if again. So it's not that if it's 2%, otherwise it's nothing. It's not like that. If it is not Honda, since there are multiple conditions involved, I need to check if the next condition is being met. So whenever we are thinking, okay, there's a condition involved, we will have to put another if. So if B5 is equal to, let's say the other car type, if this is true, then it is 3%, else
If again.
If again.
Next one.
So anytime there are condition checking, you will have to apply if function. So if it's at 7, then it's 4%, else
Again if.
For others, like if again.
now
for
I
others.
don't need
No,
a
no,
if.
no. We can
Oh yes,
put
yes.
in
Then
false.
now we can just put like,
Others.
if it is
Others,
false,
others.
I can just put others. So
Yeah.
typically as a thumb rule, if I have got, let's say, n number of conditions, so n minus 1 if functions are being used over here. Very simple, right?
Yes,
Can you please repeat that?
Yeah, if there are n number of conditions, let's say if I have 4 conditions right now, right? So how many ifs am I using? 3 ifs. Because the last condition or the first 2 conditions can be clubbed together. One will be a part of value of false of the other one. So I don't have to write another if over here.
Isani, I have one question, like not on this,
Yes.
but what is the difference between nesting and looping?
See, nested what? Nested can be loops
Nested
also.
is like, yeah.
Okay, ifs is checking condition. Okay. And looping means that you are repeating a same process. For
Okay.
example, let me think of a good example. Okay, for example, this process that we did, that depending on which car type we have to give a different bonus percentage. So we use nested if. Right? Now I have, let's say this was for one particular year. Now the same process I have to repeat for 10 more years. Okay. So when I'm repeating the same process, exactly the same process, then it's looping. So I've done it for 1 year. And what is the process? I'm doing nested if over here. And the same process I need to repeat 9 more times. So that will be going under looping.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much.
Excel does not do looping, by the way. Excel does not loop.
Like I remember using the same formula like again and again. So I was doing sum ifs with multiple conditions, and then I had to repeat it. I had to repeat it again with some other data. So I think I used it, but I'm just confused like when I used
Yeah, so looping would be something that we learn in programming. Looping is not in typical application. It's in more programming concept.
Okay. Thank you.
So when we start with VBA, that's time again, I'll introduce you to looping and nested if again.
Okay.
Okay. Now, remember we spoke about this yesterday also, that when you have
Ishani, I want to ask something.
Yeah, Abhishek.
There are only specific 2 or 3 brands. That is why we are able to apply nested if. What if this series goes to up to the hundreds? Then
Somebody
we
had already given that answer yesterday. So who wants to tell? Very valid question. Worry point. 100 nested if can't even go to 100. I think the limit is 67 ifs. But
Yeah.
who wants to give 67
but 50
also?
is more than sufficient.
50
67.
is
So
also
what
too much. I think you saw what I did, right? I just made all the car types
Made
vanish at
others.
the bottom just because I
Others.
also don't want to work so hard. So the valid question. So how would you guys treat this thing? If I would say if I 5 or 6, I'm okay with it. But more than 6, even I don't want to work so hard. So what should we do? Somebody had already given this answer yesterday. Ifs is also same problem, right? You're writing too much.
Writing too much in ifs.
Anything else?
But VLOOKUP cannot be.
No array.
No,
VLOOKUP.
no, but
Yeah. Why
but
not
for
VLOOKUP
text,
exact match?
for text,
It's exact match. For numbers, you have approximations. So why work so hard?
okay.
Most
can
of the
do-
time, you can replace your nested ifs with your lookups easily. But there are certain occasions, little more complicated conditions are there where your lookups are not going to fit in. But like these kind of things where there are 10 or 50 of them, don't even try to use a if function. Straight away, you should go for a lookup. If it's a text, use an exact match. If it's a number, use an approximation. Simple. Okay.
Okay.
And Gunjan, since you answered, I was looking at your answer sheet personally. You tend to overthink my questions. So
Actually, I was thinking about the formatting of that table.
not only
rather than-
formatting, there was one more thing I saw. You were overthinking about my questions. I
Right.
typically give very easy test.
Right.
When I looked at the solution, like, wow, how could you think about that? But anyways, we'll discuss that later. Okay, so you remember yesterday we spoke about it when you have a function inside another function. What is a crucial thing? A function inside another function. What is crucial now?
Brackets.
Closing brackets.
Brackets. And when you're closing the bracket, what you have to do, you have to close the inner functions first and then you move out. So this is the inner function. This is my logical test. This is the value of true. This is the value of false. So I'll close my bracket over here. Then I go back. This is my logical test. Value of true, value of false. So where do I close it? At the end.
At the end.
So don't think that all the time it is going to be at the end. That's not necessary. Every time, every question that we work on, like yesterday you guys work and you had and or. So or did not close at the end. Or closed where it's all the components were, all the syntax was complete. That's where you need to close it. And once this is done, what else I need to do?
Shani, can you please again?
We need to lock icon.
I need to fix my cells, right?
Yes.
So fix the cells. And Vikas, what do you want me to repeat?
Like how we place like
How?
brackets.
The brackets. So the brackets, like in nested if, typically I would go inside the inner if first.
Okay.
And just check, okay, logical test. So I just keep clicking on the syntax and it keeps on highlighting what it is taking as value true, what it is taking as value false.
Right.
So wherever that ends, put a bracket.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And once this is done, we can copy paste and do our work. Very easy, but easier than that was lookups. Definitely. No doubt about it. If I had to do a VLOOKUP here, lookup value is this, table array is this, comma match. Now, anybody who has not used match in my work, I've actually marked, taken out 50% of the marks. I need to enforce this thing on you guys now. And then 0. Okay. Now, if I do this with the VLOOKUP, it works.
Yes, it will.
Except for one place will get stuck.
Others.
Others. So how will you tackle others? No, Gunjan
If
had
error.
tackled others. Yes. So what we are going to use, we will use a function called if error. Now, what is if error? If error is basically a function used for masking your errors in Excel. Does anybody know which are the errors in Excel?
NA divide.
DNA, hash and name.
Div,
Name.
num error, value error,
Spell.
name error, reference error.
Yeah.
Right?
Spell
And
error.
one more, null error. These are all the errors in Excel. So some of the errors are not really errors, but they are the way of telling a person that, okay, like NA, this is not available. So that's the way of doing it. But do you think if I give a hash NA to my customer, client, or let's say internal teams who are not very used to seeing NA, or my managers, NA is a good thing to leave in your reports?
No.
No. So again, the whole point is to make it more readable. So if I say not available or put a hyphen, that is much more understandable than putting a hash NA over here. So if error does what? If error helps us to mask the errors of Excel, right? So how do we use it? It has two things. If error, one is value. Value meaning
like what
the
whether it's
thing that you
NA
want to
The formula
exactly,
which
yeah,
we are
what is
applying.
going to
Error.
evaluate.
Yeah.
And the second part is going to be this one, value of error. So
Yeah,
it
what-
evaluates this value. If it's not an error, it returns the same value itself. And if it is an error, then it will, whatever you put over there, it will return that. So let's say we want to return a hyphen. And close the bracket, enter. Now, wherever the values are there, it's going showing us values, but wherever the error was there, it's now replace it with hyphen. So if error has two parts, value, what do you want to evaluate? And then value of error. So if the value turns out to be an error, what do you want to replace it with?
Shani, if I don't want to put
5%.
any, hyphen or anything, so we can
You
leave
can
it
leave
as
it blank. Yes. Double quote, start and close. That's it. It will be blank.
Okay.
All right. Any question around if error or nested if? And I'll do ifs also now.
So can't we use 5% there in that other? Here
Shani,
in
can
this
you-
question,
Yeah. For this question, we
Can
should
you
have.
please
Correct,
repeat it
correct.
once again?
5%.
Yeah, this ideally should be 5%. You're absolutely correct. In my case, it should have been 5%. Absolutely correct. Thank you.
Hello.
Can I? Yes.
Can you please repeat it once again?
What is the role of if error?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. So what is if error? Like I said, there are various errors in Excel. Sometimes you want to mask the error. So if you look at if error, what it does, it uses the value or evaluates the value. If the value is going to be a non-error value, like a text or a number or a date, whatever it is, then it will return the same value. But in case that value is a error, then whatever you give over here, value of error, that gets returned. Again, simple example. If I had like div0 is coming, or I create a name error and this, right? So if I give if error, this is the value I want to evaluate. And if this is an error, I want to give a hyphen, right? So for the first value, Imran, what will I get? 34 or the hyphen?
34.
I'll get 34 because there is no error.
34.
And wherever there is an error, like div0 name error, I'm getting hyphen. So it masks it.
Okay. Okay, got it. Got it.
Got it?
Yes.
All right. Okay, time to do some more work. But this question is tough. I'm giving you heads up. Exercise number 2, I've created little challenging, not made it too easy on you guys. So populate the column of default period. I've created a last column. I've created a new column over here called default period. And what should be there? So there's not just one value that could be there. There are going to be 3 different values that are possible. If you look at the disbursement date, if you look over here, there are dates given and there are certain cells which are blank also. So in case the cell is blank, then I want you to give an output of date is missing or date missing. If no default, and if the person has not done any kind of default, how would you know if a person has done default or not?
We have charge
in
of
full.
amount or the MIS status.
MI status, yeah.
MIS status is charge of rest, that is there, or the charge of date is going to be blank. If the date is blank, means the person has not defaulted.
Also,
right?
if in column Y we have any amount, then the
Or
loan
if you have in this charge of any amount,
Mhm.
right? But
Yes.
this is a text. Remember, we also yesterday we discussed how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
convert it to a number. So select the entire column, press your Control H, dollar, replace it with nothing, and when you do, now it has become a number. So if you want to use this column, then you might want to use convert it into a number first and then use it, or you can use this column where the date is missing or the cell is blank. Then it means a person has not defaulted. So if the person has not defaulted, it should remain blank. And otherwise, if the person has defaulted and all the dates and everything is given to us, then we want the number of years when declared as default, like when the person was declared as default. So if a person had got the loan, for example, the person got the loan on 31st December 2006, after approximately 3 something years, he was declared as default. Right?
Yes.
So I want the date. So how will you give me the year number of years?
Difference if date.
Date diff. Let's
If
try
date.
to use the function date diff. Okay,
Date
date diff, again, start date, end date, and what will be the parameter we'll use?
Y.
Correct. Let's try to use all of them. I know I was little evil in the morning, came up with this question, but I think it is high time we mix and match a little bit more. Okay, so let's do this question.
Date is missing.
Hi, Shani Merin here. I just have
Yes,
a
Merin.
doubt.
Yes, Merin,
So
tell me.
the first condition is if disbursement date is missing, then the output should be date missing.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Because otherwise, when I was experimenting with this data, if the date is missing, then you're getting errors, because when you're using date diff, there's no date.
Right.
So if the date is missing, then I want date missing so that no calculation happens there.
Ishani, sorry, what was the function for calculating the date?
Date diff. One second, I'll shift it over here. This one.
Data diff.
Date difference. So when you type in, right, it doesn't show up. So just write date diff, open the bracket, and it doesn't show the syntax. So syntax I've written over here on the top.
For second condition, we have to write blank or we have to leave it blank.
Leave it blank.
Okay.
How will you check whether the date is missing or not?
Date is missing, we can check whether it is blank or not.
So which function is blank? Okay, you can use a function called is blank, or you're using only this. Okay,
I'm using only a colon
double
blank.
quotes.
Right.
Correct.
Last is number of years dative.
This blank, this, if not. Oh, yeah, there you will have to put. All right. All right, good. So Neil done, Shweta done, Marin done, Kunjan done. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 answers so far.
Ishani, for date diff, if I want the difference in days, I just replace Y by D, right?
Correct. But typically we wouldn't do it because if you subtract the 2 dates as it is, you get the number of days. So I put a function there.
Yeah, right. And M will give me the months?
Yes.
Okay.
So Pratibha, what I meant when I said blank meant a complete blank. So remove the word in between the quotes and then you're done. Prasad, correct. Ankita, correct. Lalit, correct.
I forgot dative function.
I've written it over there. Start date, end date, and why.
Started, ended.
Mohammad Vikar, correct. Arshad, correct. Ameshwara, correct. All right, good. Abhishek, I think instead of bracket, since you typed it by hand, it's number 9. So I'm going to ignore that and check the rest of it, which is correct. Deepika, correct. Raj, correct. So that was not bad. Okay. Still a lot of people are left. Manoj, Naveen, Prashant, Rakesh, Sekat, Sandeep, Shikhar, Shubham, Sitaram. Again, I think Vikas, you wrote it by hand. That's why instead of a comma, there's a full stop.
Yeah. That's the reason. Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks, and it's not dated if, it's date diff.
You did it.
So ED, remove the ED from there. It's all hand typed mistakes. All right, looks good.
Zoom not like it's difficult, like it's not allowing us to like copy paste anything.
I know. It's okay. I understand. All right, perfect. Okay, I think we can move on. Let's do this one, and I should have named it as solutions.
So even if you save the file with the solution over there, right? On a LMS, you also save this file as a solution.
Yes. I'm putting solutions also side by side. So over here, it was a simple if, and first thing we wanted was, I used this blank when I did it, and I said, okay, if this is blank, if this is blank, then the person has not defaulted, correct? So this has to be blank. Otherwise, I'm going to check if this value is blank again. Then I'm going to put date missing.
Okay.
Else, I want to do the calculation. So date diff, start date is going to be the when it was given, when it was charged off, and why. And closing the bracket over here. Okay, so this was the answer. False. I'm getting false. Something I missed. Wait. This is value of true. What is the value of, oh, close the bracket in the wrong place now. That's the problem I'm facing. Hold on. Date diff. So is blank. Date is missing. Else this. Oh, just one bracket close. What did I miss? This is my logical test. This is my value of true. This is wrong. It's not my value of true. Oh, forgot this part. Now it should be fine. Logical test, value of true, and this is my value of false. Correct. Close the bracket for this one. Logical test, value of true, value of false. Now it is giving me correct answer. And I'm getting still num error. Why? Start minus end.
Blank. No, after date missing or it's you wait.
Oh, what am I doing? All right. I put is blank and put a blank in front of it because I've been reading your formulas for too long. So everywhere if you do double quotes, I'm trying to use and mix and match both the things. Vivek, this is incomplete, what you have sent me. It is date missing is fine, but what about the blank cell? If it's not a default, then it should come as a blank. That particular thing is missing over here. So add another if inside it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any questions from anyone on this? All good? Next thing, what we want to start off is, Imran, it looks good. Correct. Next thing, what we want to work on is called conditional formatting. Have you heard about this term? Conditional formatting.
Yes, Ishani.
Yeah. So somebody needs to explain what is conditional formatting.
So on a condition base, we can format our data in Excel. Like we have.
Correct. Simple definition: conditional formatting the data based on a condition. Typically, when you say I want to format the data, what we are looking at in the home tab, we are looking at the font, we are looking at the alignments, we are looking at the formatting, right? So mostly used is what? When you do conditional formatting, what's the maximum used formatting style is what? We fill the
duplicate.
Yes, we fill the color in the cells, right? We color our cells. That's the most used, highly used.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think coloring the cells would help me at all? Like, what is the impact of coloring the cells?
So we can highlight.
We can
easily identify the what we are looking for.
Exactly. We can easily identify what we are looking for. A simple example, let's say if I wanted to find out wherever the sales value is less than 2,000. So I've identified, okay, these two are there, but slowly and gradually, when you keep on working in your data, you will see, will start skipping the values because it's a huge amount of data that you want. So instead of doing that, if I want to create my sheets in such that I'm able to highlight a data set, which does help me, a person, to understand my data better, then we do conditional formatting. And where is conditional formatting? It happens to be in the home tab, conditional formatting. And I always like to work with managed rules because then I'm able to see all the rules that have been implemented. So I will ask you to do the same. And then we can put in new rules. All the rules are there. So just to give you an example, if I say I want to format only the cells that contain value, which is, let's say, less than 2,000, because that's what I'm trying to look at. And I can go to the format, go to fill, because that's something which is used a lot. Pick a color, click OK, and OK, and you will see now the cells are colored. Right. So now if I scroll, even though I'm scrolling fast, the colors are going to make me stop and I can look at the values and identify the values which are less than 2,000. Plus, once you've colored your cells, if I want to filter, I can do that. Right. If I clear the filters, but I want to sort the data, I can do that as well. I can sort by color. So it is a great advantage that we are able to do conditional formatting. So do you do conditional formatting only when the data is there, or can you apply formatting on blank cells also? What has been your experience?
Only on data.
Only on data.
Both.
But you can put it on blank cells also. So it's not necessary that the data has to be there. If you have sheets in which you are putting in the information, and as in when the information needs to be highlighted, the rules are already there. As a person is entering the data, or let's say a very simple example, let's say we have an invoice number and we have an invoice date and there is a due date. So I can put in conditional formatting in such a way that every day when I open this sheet, any invoice which is past the due date gets red in color, so that I know I need to follow up for the payment. Okay, so it could be that the data is already existing, or I could have put this condition on all the columns of invoice number, invoice date, and due date. And as and when the data is input and the data is past the due date, it should get highlighted. So it's not necessary it has to be only on the filled data. It could be on empty cells also that we apply. Clear?
Yes.
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 So,
Yes.
okay, so tomorrow we'll continue with this topic. The only thing is there are a lot of rules over here. Rule number 1 and rule number last will take a little bit time for explanation. But other than that, everything is easy. Based on the pre-assessment that I had checked, I found that conditional formatting is a weak area for this group. So we'll spend the entire time on conditional formatting tomorrow. And I've already made the exercise. So once you're done with the, the theory part and the exercise from my side, then we'll work on exercise number 3.
Okay. Ishani, can I have look for exercise number 2 answer?
Sure.
Get it? If
Another thing before we wrap
Ishani,
up. Yes.
Ishani, Naveen here. So I am getting error, while using this formula,
Sure.
which
You
others
want
have
to-
used. But then I have used if error, then it's become fine.
But there should not be a fairer requirement over here because we are covering
Right.
all the possible conditions.
Okay.
So can you copy paste your formula or do you want to share your
Yes.
screen?
I'm doing it just.
Okay.
Hello, Ishani.
Yes, Vivek.
Can you please check my answer
Formula?
once again? Because I'm just
Ishani, you have to
checking
stop the
your-
screen.
Yes, actually, everything same.
Same.
But
Okay. I'm
result
sure
is
something.
same. Result is same.
Uh-huh. 1 second. Let me
So-
look at
so
Naveen.
I'll
Naveen,
just-
double click. Yes.
Let me remove error.
Remove if error. If U2 equal to blank. U2 is what? Okay. Then date is missing. If T2 is blank, then this. Otherwise, date diff and this. Right? U T Y. Correct. Let's look at your brackets. Your bracketing is correct. 1 for this, 2 for this, 3 for this, U3. Hold on.
It's
How are we jumping from row 3, Naveen, to row 9?
Yes.
Go back to your formula. You mixed everything.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is
2.
2.
U2,
I got
T2.
it.
I'm like, how can 4
Ah.
cells be highlighted at the same? The rows are different.
Got it.
Nice. Okay. All right, Vivek, you want to share your screen?
I'm just.
Shani, could you please explain the functionality and purpose of if error?
If error. Like I said, the work of if error is to mask the errors of your Excel work. And typically to make your reports more presentable, because as an Excel user, you know the meaning of these errors. But trust me, even if I ask you when do you get a value error or when you get a num error, I'm sure you guys can't answer this question. So imagine a non-user of Excel, when he looks at those errors, he's clueless that why this is there. So instead of doing a div 0, which means the denominator is 0, if you put a simple thing saying no value or something like whatever, why the div 0 came, why the denominator was 0, then it makes it readable for other people.
Okay, thanks.
Ishani, the same problem is with me.
You can share your screen. Share your screen. Oh, you're going to share it this way. Okay. That's okay. All right, date diff. You can't start with date diff and put an if inside it. Date diff will be inside an if. Okay. So I think you did it by mistake. Just remove dated, the word dated after equal to sign. The first equal to sign that you see, remove the word dated.
This one.
Yeah. Remove if will be there. Dated won't be there. It's an if function, not dated if. Yes. If U8 is blank, then date missing. If this is blank, then this, otherwise this. Enter. Let me know if it worked for you. Is like this. T8, U8. T8, U8, date missing, dated if, this is this. Date missing, if. I'm not getting date missing when disbursement date is missing. Okay, let me check my screen. So it's working for you or not, Shikhar?
No,
No. U8 is blank. Then date missing. If T8 is blank, then this U minus T and Y. What is the error that's coming up?
it's a blank field.
It is a blank field. For the first one, it is blank.
But
Remember,
if
we have given if T8 is missing. In the first case, T8 is missing. It's a blank. That's what your formula is.
Ishani, if I'm copying it, it will not work.
If I'm copying it, it won't work.
Yes.
Why?
It's missed.
I don't know why it's not working.
Move your screen towards the column where you are. Move towards right, your camera towards right. Double click on this. Double click to copy paste the formula. Right and bottom of the cell. I know you're doing double duty. No, not like that, not like that. Select only one cell, right bottom, the corner.
The
Go to the
highlighted
corner.
dot. Click on that. Like on this. No.
Not the column. The
Just
cell.
the cell. Yeah. So click on
And the
at
corner.
bottom.
Autofill cursor.
Yeah, to autofill. All right, Merin, thank you. Double click. Leave. No. Shikhar. Enter. Okay,
Yes.
let me share my screen. Look at my screen once, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So let's say if I want to pass this formula to the rest of the cells. So what do? This is a cell. Go to the right bottom. When you see the thin plus sign came up,
Yes.
then double click. So you see it will fill it up. Tell me once you're done, is it working or not?
Yeah, now it's working.
Now it's working. Okay.
Shivani, I have one question.
Yes, please.
Some of us, mention T8 equals to, comma in double quotes. Is that equivalent to blank?
Yes.
Okay.
That is equivalent to blank.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So you guys are giving me very good feedback, but I'm not getting very good output back. So I'm a little worried about my performance and your performance, both of us. I was looking at the assessment scores and I looked at it. I was little, I have seen people not using match function, which I would love to see because that makes your work faster. If you're not using match in your assessments or assignments, then, the whole purpose of these trainings are beaten because you were using VLOOKUP previously, you are still using it in the same manner. So there's no point of, the training did not make any impact, right? So I have deducted marks and there are a few people who have not scored very well. So really want to understand that what is missing from, I don't think so it's time is a problem because I don't give very heavy work for assignments or assessments. So what went wrong? Revision is a problem or what happened? Not all of you scored very well. I'm a little disappointed looking at the result.
So when we will be getting these results published, I just wanted to see how I perform.
Not very well.
Okay.
So places where I found there was a disconnect was like things that you already knew. If I gave you questions around it, you're comfortable. Things that I added on to your knowledge base, if I give question around it, still you try to do it with your traditional methods, and that was a pain area. Okay, so you have to, I know as a person who is dealing and working on the data, there is a little bit of concern that, okay, I have been doing this thing using this method and it works and I'm confident I can do it fast. And this new method makes me a little jittery because I don't know if I'm applying it correctly to get the right answers. This feeling would be there for a couple of the cases, but once you get a hang of the new method, then trust me, you will do in much faster and a much better way. So trust me on this and try to implement the new things that we have learned. Like calculated field went missing from a lot of your assignments. Match was not implemented properly. So those kind of things are still missing, and it should be there. Okay, otherwise what's the point of the trainings when you're going to still do it in your traditional method? Okay, so I
Ishani,
wanted to let you know about that. Yes.
Will we get our assessment so we can just go through and see what we did wrong?
So assessments you have, solutions I'll put up. I just want to ask like Lavi and Vinay probably, what about the people who did not give assessment? How are we going to deal with it?
So let me stop the recording first.
Okay. I think there are about